Good day, everyone, and welcome to Migrant Focus Online. My name is Norman.
And I am Joy.
We are from the Mission for Migrant Workers, and together, we bring you the latest news about the work of the Mission for Migrant Workers, our migrant partners, and their supporters in Hong Kong.
We also bring you stories that inspire and promote harmony in Hong Kong households and society. On our top stories today, Migrant Festival now online.
Mission services bring relief and justice to thousands of migrant workers in need.
MFMW supports Let's Fight COVID campaign by Hong Kong migrant groups.
New trainings under the new normal launched.
Migrant care centers on the roll.
And finally, witnessing social solidarity. Local support pours for migrant domestic workers. These and more as you are watching Migrant Focus Online.
As we commemorate International Migrants Day today, December 18th, the MFMW celebrates how Asian migrant worker communities in Hong Kong, including their advocates, were able to persevere in the time of COVID-19. Dubbed as a Migrant Festival, the MFMW broadcasts 3 online shows today in Facebook and our website. They showcase the various activities and services that the mission provided in the months of the pandemic and the successful partnership with migrant worker groups. First off, this is our news broadcast. Next up is a travelogue where 3-year-old, our mission vlogger and intern, traces the steps towards 3 popular welfare destinations of migrant workers needing help during the coronavirus scare. Finally, Migrants Matter, a talk show hosted by the MFMW General Manager, Cynthia Telias, and our Community Relations Officer, Ms. Yohani Tong, who will host a number of special guests. The Migrants Festival is part of the Better Services, Better Skills, Changing More Lives project, supported by the Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and Charities Aid Foundation.
Yes, so please stay with us during this news broadcast and follow through with the other events happening later today. Check our FB page and our website, www.migrants.net, to get connected with the festival events. In other news, mission services bring relief and justice to thousands of migrant workers in need. No migrant worker left behind. This is the pledge of the MFMW as it continues to organize COVID-19 related outreach activities all over Hong Kong and adjust the access for its regular services for migrants in need. Responding to the new normal, the mission has been very visible in offering assistance to migrants during the pandemic. We have collected through public donations more than 15,000 masks, an equal number of other protective materials like sanitizers, which we distributed for free to the migrant community. These outreach activities also distributed scientific information on virus prevention and self and community protection, updates on regulations of Hong Kong government agencies and consulates. More than 2,500 migrants in distress, mostly women, have been assisted with their cases through counseling and accompaniment to labor, immigration, and police agencies. Among them, more than 400 were provided temporary shelter. In partnership with the Bethune House and the Asian Migrants Coordinating Body, we have been delivering food and other essentials like sanitizers, vitamin C, and medicines to hundreds of stranded workers who couldn't leave due to flight cancellations or quarantine workers who were not provided sufficient food by their employers. We were able to continue providing multi-form services with required precautionary measures. The center carried on with its operations with some modifications, including reduced hours, and strict distancing. To cope, we promoted alternative access to our services like our hotlines and Facebook and other messaging platforms. Indeed, the MFMW serves migrants anytime, anywhere, now more than ever, because of the new problems and needs brought by COVID 19 to them.
When we return, MFMW supports Let's Fight COVID campaign by Hong Kong migrant groups. New trainings under the new normal launched.
For 6 days, they are rendered invisible from the public. But once in a week, you see Central, Causeway Bay, Kowloon, and major busy areas all over Hong Kong burst into communities mostly of women. They are the migrant domestic workers. They are those whose work in households is invaluable and whose contribution to the Hong Kong society is often overlooked. We in the Mission for Migrant Workers since 1981 have strived to bring timely, responsive, innovative, and transformative services that turn migrants in distress from victims to survivors, help them find their voice and regain their dignity. As well, we have strived to make Hong Kong a society where people value respect, harmony, and care for everyone. MFMW's direct services are done in our walk-in center at the St. John's Cathedral and through our outreach work all over Hong Kong. Our services are available anytime and anywhere to those who seek assistance. We provide paralegal guidance, referral to government offices, and professional services. We provide various forms of assistance to cases. We lend our ears to listen, present options and alternatives to their problems, and lend our shoulders to lean on and share the burden they carry. We also provide shelter to migrants who are not allowed by policy to work while their cases are heard. Where will they live? How can they eat? What if they get sick? Through shelter provision, they are in a safe and secure home to recover and gain confidence to face the future. We take heart to the fact that through our services, including life and work skills upgrading, we impact and can even change lives of migrants. Alongside our services to migrants, the mission is also a social advocate. We believe that a Hong Kong society that truly cares and values all people, a community that promotes harmony and upholds multiculturalism, a Hong Kong that we can really be proud of and can help in reducing the vulnerabilities and marginalization of our foreign domestic workers. From the households to the larger society, foreign domestic workers are integral to the life of Hong Kong people. This is the message of our newest project, Happy Homes, that shares positive stories of harmonious relations, gives proper information to employers, and spread charity, love, and hope. We serve, we care, we empower, we work for change. It takes a community to realize our mission. Let our mission be yours too.
Let's fight COVID, meaning coronavirus, overwork, vulnerability, inequality, and discrimination. Aside from the virus, these highlight some of the other problems and issues that migrant workers have faced since the pandemic started. The MFMW supported the Let's Fight COVID campaign of the Asian Migrants Coordinating Body, or AMCB, the largest network of migrant domestic worker groups from Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. There are over 390,000 migrant domestic workers, or MDWs, who take care of over 11% of household families in Hong Kong. Yet, both survey and case incident reports reveal that migrant domestic workers face insufficient protection from the virus, experience pressures from additional work, and financial burdens supporting themselves and their family, and suffer various employment problems during the height of the COVID-19 crisis. More than 20,000 have lost their jobs just among Filipino domestic workers alone. 1 out of every 5 were not given their weekly rest day, and 50% of these were not given any rest day at all within 30 days of working inside their employer's house. More than 50% reported more cleaning, cooking, child caring during the periods of work from home arrangements of employers and class suspensions. Shelter needs have increased as well as problems related to quarantine of recently arrived workers. These are but a few of the realities now which have created new financial, mental, and psychosocial and health concerns for them. When distressed migrant domestic workers wanted to report or seek redress from their labor problems, they were challenged by the closure of the Labor Relations Division of the Labor Department, among other government agencies, working under government social distancing arrangements, leading to limited staff in the offices. Among the appeals of the MFMW supported were the inclusion of migrant domestic workers and the government's agenda for comprehensive protection amidst COVID-19 outbreak. Their inclusion in the financial assistance schemes by the Hong Kong government, provision of widespread information to educate households employing migrant domestic workers on their responsibilities on adequate provision of protective materials and ensuring that their rest days and protection.
In other news, new trainings under the new normal launched. The new normal meant that our job and life skills training program had to adjust. And adjust it did. The work and life skills training program took time to take off this year due to the 3 waves that hit the territory. We consulted our skills training providers and set up online infrastructure together with our migrant partners so we could continue with the empowerment activities. Once these were operational, the migrant beneficiaries started to gather online. Our migrant beneficiaries expressed more their appreciation for face-to-face sessions that we were still able to hold, like the first aid training by the Hong Kong Red Cross, some Know Your Rights sessions, and community leadership trainings. Almost 800 attended our life and work skills training program, making them more confident in the many new requirements by employers. Almost 400 female domestic workers were offered gender awareness education. An additional 500 plus benefited from new seminars on eco-friendly practices and the usual home safety guide. They all were held via Zoom. Those who were not allowed to take their day off but had their own room were able to join the Zoom. Those who were outside in public areas joined with 1 or 2 others with no Zoom apps depending on their cell phones. For those who had problems with Wi-Fi, data subsidy were provided, distributed earlier to participants. Having these seminars and trainings were important to their mental health, as long periods of lack of social contact and anxiety from the virus took its toll on migrants. They helped them overcome their isolation. Partner migrant associations were also thankful that we were offering some element of normalcy or familiarity of rest days during the abnormal situation of stay-at-home arrangements. These activities help to maintain social contact and relations that are important for domestic workers who are now staying in for almost 7 days a week in their employers' households.
After the short break, we will feature one of our most popular activities that promote caring for Hong Kong's caregivers, migrant care centers on a roll. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, we are Coexist, a student-led migrant workers advocacy group from Chinese International School. And here is what we have to say for International Migrants Day.
I just want to give a big thank you to the migrant workers in Hong Kong because they are the backbone of Hong Kong and they aren't appreciated enough.
Hi, thank you to all the migrant workers in Hong Kong. You guys have been the backbone of Hong Kong for so many years, behind the scenes, supporting and caring for us. So I really hope that you guys have a great International Migrants Day and a great Christmas. I hope you guys stay strong through all this COVID situation and hope you guys can see your family soon. I would like to give a personal shout out to my own helper who has been with me for over 17 years. She has really been through all the ups and downs with me and she's always been there for me. So thank you so much and hope all of you guys have a great Christmas and International Migrants Day.
We just wanted to say a big thank you to all the migrant workers out there who have made such a big positive impact on our community. And my own auntie who was there for my entire childhood, was a great companion and took great care of me, and my childhood would be so different without her.
In the time of social distancing, some of the biggest challenges was how to reach the migrant workers without compromising health and safety. Big gatherings like our Give Care to Caregivers events, which provided multi-form services to thousands of migrant workers on a single day, had to be stopped. Our small-scale outreach services, the Migrants Care Centers, now became the norm. In the time of social distancing, the smaller and more spread out, the better. Through our MCCs, we are able to multiply the message of care and welfare to more migrant domestic workers in more areas throughout Hong Kong during their days off. MCCs became a way of offering some of our services and for distributing much needed personal protective equipment like masks and sanitizers to the migrant community. It is also a mechanism for community information on pandemic prevention, as well as regular distribution points for our service information cards and educational pamphlets. Together with our migrant partners and our own mission volunteers called Movers, MFMW supported our MCCs. The MCCs are a clear manifestation of our partnership program with migrant organizations for outreach to migrant domestic workers. Even during the waves of community transmission, MCCs were held in many areas in Hong Kong Island, Kowloon, and all the way out in the New Territories to distribute free masks and sanitizers. More than 15,000 masks were distributed between April to August alone. Beyond distributing masks and sanitizers, needed services like blood pressure checks, Zumba lessons, Cantonese lessons, and Know Your Rights forums are offered based on the identified needs of our migrant partners. Mobile counseling services were also offered by migrants to their fellow workers. Feedback from one of our participants during an MCC captures how much the MCCs mean to the migrant domestic workers. She said, "Workers like me are feeling more secure because we know that in any emergency, we can always ask for help from MFMW." And from a migrant leader of her organization, who is one of our migrant partners. MFMW helped us improve our organization on the ground and fellow migrant workers. We are very thankful we have MFMW. Holding these smaller MCCs instead of our larger GCCs has allowed us to reach and serve more migrant domestic workers wherever they are able to gather on their days off, all throughout Hong Kong. Throughout October and November, more than 60 MCCs have been held throughout Hong Kong during Sundays.
And for our final news of the day, witnessing social solidarity, local support pours for migrant domestic workers. Our activities also caught the attention of many compassionate Hong Kong people and even civic groups, district councillors, and legislators. This impacted positively in raising awareness that indeed the migrant domestic workers also have needs during COVID-19, and they too deserve the care and support of Hong Kong society. Donations for masks and other essentials poured in, and we were able to distribute them to migrants who felt that they were also cared for. One of the difficulties the mission experienced was to immediately respond to migrant domestic workers who needed personal protective materials like masks and sanitizers. The mission made announcements via its Facebook page to solicit masks, sanitizers, vitamin C, and alcohol. Local groups and individuals, as well as those from overseas, were approached, including Hong Kong district councils and legislators who responded positively. Many individuals turned up at the center, bringing masks and gel sanitizers, a very heartwarming scene at the mission as we do not know them personally. Individual women and men bringing pieces of bottles of sanitizers and boxes of masks, and groups like the Rotary Club of Hong Kong delivering cartons of face masks as well as sanitizers, and joined the teams that distributed these items in the different places where migrant care centers, the mission's outreach programs, were continuously operated every Sunday. Observing strict social distancing, even district councillors from 3 different areas donated masks and helped distribute them to migrant domestic workers. A team was sent by a legislator to deliver goods distributed the following Sundays to migrant domestic workers. Food donations, toiletries, and hygiene materials were delivered to the center that allowed the mission to deliver them to individuals who were in quarantine, who were booked in hotels but not provided with food. Regular deliveries of meals were done by mission volunteers. Secondary school students produced handmade Mother's Day cards with their own dedications expressing thanks and gratitude to migrant domestic workers, and distributed with token cookies and chocolates. Even cash donations, such as one in memory of a friend, was received. It has been an admirable and touching atmosphere full of compassion and friendship that Hong Kong local groups and individuals continue to solicit and donate personal protective materials to the MFMW as they see how their donations go directly to the right people they intend to reach out to, the migrant domestic workers. Happy homes are not just in households. With social solidarity expressed like this, bigger spaces in Hong Kong are made happier and harmonious for both migrant workers and local people.
We are from the Mission for Migrant Workers.
Hello，我哋係聖公會聖約翰座堂嘅愛勞事工中心。Kami dari Mission for Migrant Workers dari St. John Cathedral.
We have been providing welfare services such as legal assistance, shelter, services like training and education to migrant workers in Hong Kong, especially the migrant domestic workers. And we have been doing this since 1981.
Sejak 1981. 由1981年開始，我哋為香港嘅移民工，特別係外籍家庭傭工提供服務。
Mission adalah lembaga yang memberikan pelayanan kepada buruh migran, khususnya pekerja rumah tangga.
服務包括法律支援、庇護中心、教育同培訓。
Berupa bantuan hukum, shelter, pelatihan.
We are now calling for nominations for our Happy Homes project.
我哋嘅快樂家庭計劃現正進行提名。
Sekarang kami membuka pendaftaran untuk Rumah Bahagia.
Happy Homes is a social advocacy which promotes respect, recognition, fair treatment, and mutual understanding.
快樂家庭宣傳互相尊重、肯定、互相理解同埋公平待遇。
Rumah Bahagia adalah bentuk sosial advokasi yang dilakukan oleh Mission yang mempromosikan rasa hormat, pengakuan, saling pengertian, dan perlakuan yang adil di dalam rumah majikan.
This ends our premiere broadcast of Migrant Focus Online. We hope you enjoyed this peek of how our services and programs have been able to adapt to conditions in the pandemic and indeed changed more lives.
Don't miss out on our upcoming online events as part of the Migrant Festival today. At 2:30 p.m., we will have our domestic worker destinations.
And at 4 p.m., tune in for Migrant Matters, an hour of stories from our special guest who will inspire us as we cope with the challenges of COVID-19 and its impacts to migrants' lives and those households they serve.
This is Norman Karnay.
And I am Joy Prim. Thank you for being with us at our premiere broadcast of
Migrant Focus Online.